Hey everybody, it's Brooks here, Senior Pastor, First Baptist Church of the Islands. Thank you for joining me for today's Monday Focus. Hope your day and your week is off to a good start. So on Sunday mornings recently, we've been talking through a message series called The Big Story. And if you've been part of that series, you probably know the four elements of the big story by now, that if we summarize the Bible into four key parts, what we have are creation, where God created everything, including us. We have Act 2, or Part 2, the fall, which is where sin came in. Act 3, or Part 3, is redemption, which is the story of Jesus and how he came and died in our place on the cross, paid our sacrifice for our sin, and then rose again from the dead. And he did that so that we can have a relationship with God. And then Act 4 is restoration, how God restores our lives. When we come to place our faith in Jesus, he does that immediately. But also there's a day coming when he's going to restore creation. He's going to restore our fellowship with him, where it will be unbroken in heaven. He's going to restore the concepts of righteousness and justice. All wrongs will be made right. And so we look at those four parts. But really what I did not emphasize a lot in this series, and I want to emphasize it today, is the fact that this is a great way to share the message of the gospel. If somebody ever says to you, so what's the whole story behind the Bible, right? How do you summarize the Bible? Or if someone comes to you and says, well, why do I even need a relationship with God? Or how could I have a relationship with God? Listen, those are great questions. And the big story, those four components, are a great way to share the message of the gospel. You may not have 14 different Bible verses memorized. You may not have a kind of a pattern or somewhat of a template memorized in your mind where you can move through a 10-minute, 15-minute presentation of the gospel. If you do, that's great. But listen, don't be overwhelmed about sharing the message of the gospel. You don't have to have the whole Bible memorized, but it does help to just know kind of the movement of the big story, that God created us to know him and to enjoy him in relationship. But our problem is that we've all sinned. We've all fallen away from and out of a relationship with God. But the good news is that even though we can't pay for that sin ourselves, and even though we can't work it off and we can't do enough good to balance it out, that God sent his son, Jesus. God himself came to be our Redeemer, to purchase our freedom from sin, to purchase our salvation. And he did it when he died in our place, when he rose again. And it's not enough just to know those things. We have to respond by turning from our sin and then ultimately placing our faith in Jesus alone, inviting him to forgive us and to save us. And when we do that, God restores us. He restores that relationship that was broken. He restores that fellowship with him again. And he gives us a brand new heart and a brand new life through Jesus Christ. You know, really 4 words are all you need to get started in sharing the message of the gospel in a way that's concise and in a way that's clear. Creation, fall, redemption, restoration. God made us. Our relationship with him was broken. God paid for it through Jesus. And then his desire is to replace our old life with a brand new one that comes through faith in Christ. Hey, who can you share that story with today or this week or in the days to come? Who can you begin to pray for even now? To say, God, would you open this person's heart to hearing the message of the gospel? And then pray for God to give you boldness to share that message with those who need to hear so that they can know the big story the same way that you do. Hey, I hope you enjoy God today. He's going to walk with you if you know him through Christ. He's got a plan for this day. And so you enjoy it and give him glory for what he does in your life. God bless you.